All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? We're going to try to knock out this new list for elves in 5 minutes or less, so let's get to it. So we are going to be playing some Gala Greeters, as you can see here. Now, Gala Greeters fills a lot of roles in this deck because we have to play at least 2 colors. I think your options to play elves right now are either to go black-green, or you're going to go Gaea and be green-white-red. I opted to go with black-green to start with, but I think later in the season we might put together a Gaea list. But the thing is, you get treasure if you need it, you get a +1/+1 if you need it to grow a creature. Because that's also going to be one of the issues, is that elves aren't that big, so we're going to have a couple other things in this list that help with that problem too. Then we're going to be looking at something like Leaf Crown Visionary. The Visionary is actually really good for obvious reasons, that it pumps your elves, but it also gives us a way to draw cards, which we don't have that many of. So this should be very good in general, so if you're going to play elves, obviously you're playing this card. Now, we kind of had to make a decision on what other creatures play, if we needed mana creatures or not. And the Llanowar Loam Speaker got to make the cut, partly because one of the things we're going to do to try to solve the problems in this list is play a couple things that are a little more expensive, but also it does allow us to turn a land into a 3/3, right? So we can get a bigger body if we need it, if necessary. Sticking with the elves, because we're going to have some non-elves we're going to talk about here in a second. It turns out that Glissa Sunslayer is actually an elf. Phyrexian zombie elf, but an elf nonetheless. And one of the best reasons to play black, right? This is just a hard creature to deal with. It can also help you draw cards, so that's great. Can also remove enchantments if we need to. So that's another big deal. So very good with this, having First Strike and Death Touch. Now, alongside this, there is another elf we get to play, and it's Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea. Now, we don't have a ton of things going to let us untap Gwenna, but Gwenna can make it easier for us to play a couple of our big cards if necessary. But we do have a couple of things. So we'll talk about those here in a second, but we're only going to play a couple of copies of Gwenna. This list is also going to take advantage of one of the new cards, and we're going to play a full set of Sentinel of the Lost Lore. Now, it might seem kind of weird to play 4 copies of this, but one of the reasons we're going to do this is because it's a 3/4 body. Remember how I mentioned we didn't have that many large elves? Well, 3/4 is actually pretty sizable and takes care of a lot of things. The other thing is, too, this is hedging our bets against where the format's going to go, and a lot of people are probably going to be playing some type of adventure cards. This deals with that. We will be talking about an adventure card of our own, which gave us a chance to reuse that if we wanted to, and you can just remove an opponent's graveyard. And we know for sure there's several good cards in the set that care about the graveyard. So this can do a lot of good for us. And remember that when you cast it, it's not choose one, you get to choose one or more. So you can get whatever benefits off this you feel that you need. Now, one of those big cards we're going to be able to cast with Gwenna is Tyvar the Bellicose, because it's not 5 mana, it's 5 power. So if you play this, you get to untap your Gwenna and we can play something else. The cool part is, this does make your small elves formidable because it gives everything Death Touch. And then if we happen to tap something for mana, which really is only going to be Gwenna and the Leaf Crown Visionary, but if we use them, we do get to put a +1/+1 on them. So that's actually pretty nice. And then the other elf we're going to play here is the other Glissa, Herald of Predation. The reason we want this is because it gives us some opportunities to survive against sweepers, because you can actually use the ability to just go ahead and make the little incubate tokens, and those can just sit there, right? And you don't even have to use them if you don't want to, but if they sit around long enough, then you just fire them up, get the attack in, and try to kill your opponent. So I like what this brings to the table, and it is a big toughness, so if you are in creature battles, it'll allow you to sit back, block things up a little bit if you need to. Now, one of the other things we're going to play that's not really an elf is Defiler of Vigor. And we have so many things that are green, this is going to make it pretty easy to pump our team. And we can play this fairly easy if we have a Gwenna or one of our Leaf Crown Vision or Loam Speakers out. So we love that. We have about a few seconds left, so I'm going to try to get these last couple of cards in. We are also going to be playing one Nissa, so we can actually try to just overrun our opponent. And we're also going to be trying the new card, Virtue of Persistence, because it gives us removal and some life gain and can let us get our stuff back out of the graveyard like we were just talking about. And then one of the other cards we're going to try out, and here we're going to play a couple copies of Mosswood Dreadknight, because it's a creature that keeps coming back, it lets us draw cards, and honestly, we just like it. It's a sweet card, it's good value all the way around. Not an elf, but good enough to play. And that's it. There you go. That's what elves look like. I'll have this list down below. Let me know what other decks you want to know about or what cards we should try. If you want to see me play these, check me out on Wednesday during the streamer event, because I'll be streaming on at YouTube in the morning and Twitch in the evening. There you go.